Hey guys, Troy and Card Hour here, back with another podcast. Really, really excited. We have some big Euro games to talk about. Maybe a little bit of a preview of going forward. I'll switch my winner pick for probably the fifth time. We're going to talk about Messi Golden Auction, all-time high sale, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember this stat: third most expensive soccer card of all time, I think is what they're saying. So interesting stuff going on there. And also we have 2 viewer questions. So thank you guys once again. A lot of DMs, a lot of messages. If you want a question answered, it'll definitely get answered if you commented on the video. And normally I also don't ask, like and subscribe. Why not? Why not? Help the fellas out. We're trying our best to bring you guys some good content here. But all right, we'll get into that. First, the intro.
Or a block. Sancho. Haaland's volley is beautiful. Kylian Mbappe's star is shining now. And it's risen higher than his.
Like to buy? What should I buy? What should I buy?
I think we're gonna see a lot more cards going up in price.
Neste momento, começa o cerimonial oficial.
The select few curse is real. And I guess we'll just start off with that. Mbappe, out. Thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. He was pretty underwhelming, I would say. It's also hard to fit all these pieces in one France team, you know. It's like they want to put Benzema in there, but also Griezmann and Mbappe with it's like it can be a curse having so many talented players because they all want to play, and you all have to try and fit them together. And it's like a Griezmann would play a much better with a Giroud, but a Giroud isn't the goal scorer like Benzema, and it's just stuff like that. But yeah, it's like he was written in the stars that he would be the one that missed that penalty. It was pretty heartbreaking to see, but I was cheering for Swiss, man. I cannot lie. As soon as I saw that equalizer, I was like, come on, it has to happen. Just a bit of a revenge of the semis in the 2018 World Cup where we got kicked out by France. So yes,
Yeah.
I was happy about them getting out, but yeah, it's always sad to see like such a big country like get kicked out from a big tournament because you want to see the best teams compete, or maybe the highest profile names is a better way to put it. But yeah, what do you thought about that?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting you noted that. It seemed like, yeah, they put Mbappe there to be the hero, right? It was kind of like, oh, let him have his moment when statistically, not even seems like statistically, he's not the best penalty taker on the team. So it's interesting to have him. And then, yeah, I didn't even mention, he missed it. So that's about as bad of a look as you can get for him there. Obviously the overreaction theater was huge. Like, people, he's overrated. I knew this whole time he wasn't good. I'm not ready to go quite that far, but it's just once again like kind of like a cautionary tale. I was thinking about it today when I was just going about my day. I was like, man, soccer, it's one game because the NBA playoffs are going on right now, right? And like I feel like there's been a lot of injuries and that's kind of changed things, but in general I think the better team has a pretty good chance at winning. I really do in basketball, but in soccer is one game, one match, and you never know what penalty kicks. Even more than that, the perfect epitome of penalty kicks are random, man. You can't tell me they're not. I really think they are. Like you never know what can happen. So okay, random's a little, but there's a pretty big element of chance, in my opinion. You never know for sure what's going to happen. Sure. So. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. And then just to pivot to the soccer card world real quick. Hey, I was part of it as well, right? Everyone's playing, buy Mbappe for the Euros. And for sure, like I said, I thought, especially a while ago, I'll defend myself in 2 things. One, I said it a while ago. I said the run-up for Mbappe is going to be big, and then it was. And then once that run-up happened, I said, whoa, everyone relax. Like this thing, I was like, it's up like 3x. What are we expecting it more to do? And then this is what happened. But even besides that, who cares? It's like the best. Everybody has a plan. This is really weird compared to sports cards, but it's like everyone has a plan until you get punched in the face. It's like, yeah, it's great to say I'm going to ride the waves and I'm going to buy this guy and flip this guy until it doesn't work out, right? Until the big upset happens or someone gets injured. So I guess I'll just caution people to just always remember that.
Yeah, I mean, I think even Mbappe is a different case because are you really buying him to only flip during the Euros? I mean, the World
Yes,
Cup is
people
next year.
really, especially Americans who didn't know soccer, I really think they were.
If it was like Joao Felix or a Sancho, maybe, but Mbappe. I mean, a lot of people. If you ask people right now, even people that don't know a lot about soccer, like who is is Mbappe in the top 5 best players right now? They would say yes. So why would you then try to flip the guy? You know, if it's super modern, like, yeah, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like he should just be a buy and just forget about him. You know, he's a young guy. Like a lot can happen to him. Like keep an eye on him, like injury wise and stuff like that. But it's only like this season was his only. This was the first time he didn't win League 1. But it was the first season he scored more than 40 goals in a season. So you know, a lot can change, and I wouldn't have flipped him during the Euros. I would just have kept him and then just waited for next year for the World Cup, because then he has a chance to play against Neymar and Messi and Suarez and stuff like that. So
yeah, for
in a
sure.
market in a market like this, trying to flip Mbappe, I don't know. I'm not in that flipping game, but it just doesn't sound logical to me.
I mean, I agree with you for one, with two things. Like if I owned Mbappe, like I wouldn't be, rushing to sell him right now. Like, oh, he's, I don't agree with that he's overrated, or this shows that he's not this and that, or that France can have success. I believe in Mbappe and he's going to have success. It's just that I know for a fact that there are people, especially people who don't really have much of a care about soccer, who bought his, let's just say Prism Silver PSA 10. I mean, that thing is down. I mean, I want to say almost maybe 50%. Like I know that was up because I know I sold a BGS 9 for 2,300 a couple months ago, like 3 months ago. Okay. And if I'm not mistaken, PSA 9s are now selling like close to that $1,000 mark. So, you know what I mean? Imagine, imagine you're down 50% on Mbappe and you don't care about, like, your plan was to buy Mbappe. I'm going to sell him at the Euros, especially once again, these people who don't care about soccer, who are just trying to keep things moving.
Yeah.
What do you do then? Then you're kind of stuck. Yeah, it'll probably go up, but that wasn't their plan. So now they're kind of, what do I do?
Yeah. I get that. But I mean, in the 2018 World Cup, I think he scored like 4 goals in 5 games, something like that. And this Euros wasn't for him. Like, that's okay. Like if you would have asked who would be scored one of the most goals, no one would have said Emil Forsberg. From Sweden, he scored 4 goals. He hit the woodwork twice yesterday, so he could have scored 6 goals in 4 or 5 games. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. So, but yeah, I still believe in him. Like he's a great guy. Like he showed that even in a team that is stacked as France, he was the highlight. I thought he made great runs, but he's overshadowed by so many. Benzema for one, like he came in that team and he became the spotlight. Like, oh, Benzema came back. The whole story around it, him being the center forward, and he was the savior of France. He scored 4 goals too, so you cannot argue against that. So I think he took the spotlight a bit away from Mbappe as well. But they're out.
I mean, yeah, that's it. Pogba was playing pretty well at times too. There was a lot of people outshining him.
Pogba had an amazing tournament.
Yeah. That goes to exactly what we were talking about, right? Like club form versus international. It's just a whole different game.
It's just that at Manchester United, he doesn't have a Kante to sweep everything. At Manchester United, he has to worry about his defensive duties. But at France, he has a guy like Kante there. Like he runs 90 minutes. He does all the vacuum cleaning and make sure defensive stuff is okay. And he doesn't have that at Manchester United. So that's why he can play more forward. He can play more freely. He doesn't always have to worry about defense, and that makes him play like he plays. Like he's an amazing player. But if you don't have someone like Kante, like only Chelsea has Kante. There's only like 2 or 3 players that potentially play like Kante. So if you don't have one like that, yeah, you have to worry about defensive stuff, and that takes away from your creativity and moving forward. But yeah, Pogba had an amazing tournament, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, and this is my weekly disclaimer of I have to get it. I don't know tactics, but at Man U, he plays mainly, two defensive mids, right? And then he has that responsibility, and it's a way different system, which is, I guess, advice, right? If you like someone like you who really knows the game, right? You can kind of see that coming. He's going to shine because he has Conte covering for you. So I guess, yeah, if you happen to be watching this and like you want to get into soccer cards and know how people are going to perform, like this stuff is really worthwhile to learn because it'll help you in the market, but also just help you enjoy the game. And it's just good to learn. I was trying to think of anything else on Mbappe. Oh, the last thing I had at Mbappe though was, I think you mentioned his stats at the World Cup, right? And before, and even this season, no matter the sport, but especially in soccer, I feel like when you first come on the scene, you're playing loose. No one's really thinking about you, not too much pressure. The media is not on you as much. I think it's easy to not easy, excuse me, but you can burst on the scene and you're just playing, right? You're doing well. But the true measure of greatness, and you really want to be in that great Messi Ronaldo category, is the consistency. And when the media is on you, everyone's keen on you. Who was keen on it? Like before the matches, when Mbappe was playing at the World Cup, I'm sure he was talked about, but I really don't think there was an emphasis on, okay, here's how we stop Mbappe, guys. Now that's happening, and that happens in no matter the sport. And to be able to still break through that and still produce greatness, that's what makes you an all-time great. So, it's hard. It sounds kind of harsh to be this hard on Mbappe because I really don't want to be that guy who's overreacting to what happened. But if you want to put him in that Messi Ronaldo category, like that's what you have to see from him going forward. Like no matter the odds or the circumstances, like you have to be that guy consistently.
Yeah, there were times where they had like 3 or 4 people around him at all times. It's like,
it's different. They're keen on him.
As soon as he had the ball, he was like, damn, I need to figure a way out here. But I think you're completely right. Consistency is the one that separates the all-time greats from greats, I would say. It's like, if you really want to belong in that top tier category, then you have to perform every time. Now, you cannot win everything. It's easy to get in that winning mindset because it's the first year Mbappe didn't win the League Cup. Like he won the League Cup every since he joined Monaco. So I think it was 5-6 seasons in a row. He didn't win it this season. He won the World Cup. He didn't win the Euros. It was his first Euros as well. You have to give the guy some slack too. It's like not only because of him they win out.
Yeah, of course not.
And it's experience. He will take that for next time, and the team will look different as well because Benzema will not be there. Maybe even Giroud won't be there. The France team is still stacked for years to come. They have a lot of young talent coming in. The people they left at home is just they can fill another team with that and compete in the Euros. So a lot of things are going to change for a lot of teams. Same with Belgium, same with Germany. A lot of players are like Kroos announced his retirement after the game. Thomas Müller will probably not be there anymore. Neuer will not be there anymore. Hummels. So a lot of teams are going to change in the next couple of years. And for all I've seen, like Mbappe's, we say Haaland and Mbappe are the 2 players right now. So for all we know, next World Cup or even the Euros after that, he can come on and he will outshine everyone because he's just that much better than the generation is coming or the people that are now coming onto the scene. So that's why I was like, just keep Mbappe. Like he will get his moment, unless he gets a massive injury, obviously. But I think he will get his moment.
Last 2 things. I'm interested to see what happens with Mbappe card prices now. I definitely saw a bunch were being listed. It'll be interesting to see how big the overreaction will be because soccer cards have held fairly strong compared to basketball, but I do fear there was a ton of speculation, especially in the Mbappe market. So that worries me a little bit. And then with France, last thing, like you mentioned, being hopeful with all the talent they have. Not only do they have enough talent to field a competitive team with who they left at home, they have enough talent with just people who were born in their country, but don't even represent that national team. think about those players, what kind of squad they could put together just with people who play for different national teams but were born in France. So I'm still hopeful. France will still be one of the best teams going forward. But moving on to a team that has a lot of talent as well. It's coming home. I know you love hearing that. It is coming home. England with the Jack Grealish coming in, making a difference. What's your reaction to that game?
I think it was interesting to see how England lined up, because they were playing with couples, like every man had another man to cover for. So it came down to a lot of running in this, like getting away from your opponent, like your one-on-one opponent, and it was a lot of trying to find the areas and space behind the defense, and that was what England did better than Germany. England kept a very good defensive line, I would say. They did a pretty good job. And with Germany having such a high line, because the last three defenders play at the middle. And if you have a guy like Saka and Sterling who can find those spaces, then, well, you're going to get caught out. Rudiger didn't look all that great, in my opinion. He had a lot of times where I thought, yeah, this is it. This is where he's going to ruin it. But every time he get bailed out by Gosens or Hummels. But yeah, that Germany defense it can look great, but in games like this, yeah, everyone knows England has the players to hurt teams if they go too far. And that's my worry for Belgium if we have to play against England again. Like, we've beat them, I think, now 3 out of 4 games. But it's still something you should always think about. It's like they are so good at finding the space behind the defense. And that's that's how they won the game. Also with Grealish, I don't understand why people always keep bringing up, you have to start him. Like, why? The guy comes in 3 times and gives 2 assists to win the game. Like, why would you start him? Maybe if he starts and it's at minute 75, he has ran too much that he doesn't see those opportunities anymore. Like, I don't know, but why would you start him if he comes on every time and makes a difference? Like, then just let him play him from the bench, like super sub. That's super important in games like this.
But yeah. You know, I mean, for sure, there's some logic to that argument. But if you're playing on a team with someone, even just like at the park, right, and you keep subbing the guy on and he keeps doing amazing, like, you're gonna start him. That's if someone comes in and performs, like, you definitely have to at least entertain the idea of starting them.
I don't see why. He makes a huge impact from the bench. Then just keep using. If he's that consistent, if it's 1 game, yeah, sure. But it's like 3 games now, and when he comes on, obviously we know what type of player Grealish is. Like, he's very good at driving the ball, getting passes into the final third. Like, if you have a guy like him on the pitch, you know he's gonna get. He doesn't care about defense. He doesn't care about being protective or whatever. He just wants to run forward. And maybe that's when you need to bring him in. Like, he played 21 minutes in this last game, 27 minutes in the first game. Like, he can make an impact from the bench and just keep doing it. Like, if it works, sure, I would keep doing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I'm not going to pretend to have the solution to England's all their attacking options, because even Southgate doesn't know, and so I won't pretend to know. I guess I was just playing a little bit devil's advocate. For me, like, if someone comes on and performs, yeah, there's something to be said, like keeping them in that role if that's helping you win. But at the same time, like, it's just kind of hard if someone comes on and they keep performing and keep making things happen. The idea is, like, how do we keep them on the bench? But once again, that's just, you know.
I also think it's a conversation between Southgate and Grealish. Like, I cannot imagine that Southgate didn't go up to him and said, like, okay, you're not going to start, but I'm definitely going to play you when we need you the most, or when we need something to happen, I will bring you on. I cannot imagine that they don't have those conversations, because I think it's super important.
And then Sancho is peering over his shoulder. Oh yeah, you can bring me on too. I'm ready as well if you want.
Oh man,
I'm sorry, boss. You need someone to help out coming on late.
That's heartbreaking, though. I actually have no idea why he didn't. Not even a single minute, right?
No, I don't think so.
I don't know, because I mean, Saka is a great player. I love the guy, but not even 1 minute. I'm not sure that something, either he's not fully fit, either I don't know. I really don't know.
Maybe Southgate sold all his Sancho cards early and he doesn't want them to go up anymore.
Like I can, now that they've gone through, I can even see Sancho start next game or something like that. You know, something stupid, ridiculous, like no one predicted it, but I don't see that happen. Like it's working the way it is, and I feel again for the people that were saying you have to buy Sancho because of his impact at the Euros and blah blah blah. Well, yeah, he has a lot of impact on the bench, but that's basically it.
Yeah, I'm going to reiterate it again because we were talking about it before. Is like this stuff it's not just like drop and play. Like, oh, Sancho's good. Okay, now he's good for England. Like, that's not how it works at all. It's a whole different beast.
On FIFA, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not FIFA Ultimate Team. So you just have to keep that stuff in mind. I haven't brought up basketball too much. I think I've been all right this episode. It's not. There's so much more that can happen, in my opinion. Like I said, if someone gets traded in basketball, even like not Kevin Durant, but like one level below, he's going to be good for his other team. He's going to play the same minutes. He's going to do this and that. In soccer, if you're moving national teams, you're moving clubs. It doesn't happen. It's not automatic like that. So you just have to know that and keep that in mind, especially when you're prospecting, right? Like Sancho, this isn't dance on Sancho. Sancho is a great player, especially his stuff could boom, right? Even if he gets a big transfer. But it's just kind of like how easily, though, with Sancho was really expensive. Sancho could totally just be out, like be not hobby relevant. Like it really could happen easily.
Yeah.
So you have to like understand that risk, and that really could happen.
It looks like he will make his move to Manchester United, though. Like I've seen reports from the transfer legend guru, and I think it's pretty much said and done. I think after the Euros we will see that move to Manchester United. So again, no one knows if that's even a good thing because he has to sacrifice someone else or play him differently, because right now I think he plays right, and that's Greenwood's place. So I'm gonna take out Greenwood.
Oh, brother. Actually, in fairness, Greenwood has been playing better lately. I know you're a little higher on him than I am.
Oh, Greenwood, yeah, I love the guy, but you can also play as him as a center forward. But you have just re-signed Cavani, so I mean, you also have you still have Rashford there. Like, yeah, again, you have to make all the pieces fit and they have to work together. Now, obviously, I don't think you can bring in a Sancho and then not play him, but that's exactly what they did with Van der Beek as well. So I don't know.
And also I was hearing rumors, Camavinga, your guy to Man U, Sancho and Camavinga to Man U for the hobby. For the hobby. The hobby would love it.
Yeah, and he's still like 18, 19. It's crazy. And then you have a guy like Camavinga that will not play because of Pogba. I don't know.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Last one, Portugal, Belgium. What do I have on that? The Thorgan Hazard train just keeps on chugging. I told you, Thorgan Hazard, star of the tournament. I love to see it. But all jokes aside, you probably know the most about this one. What were your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's crazy to see how Portugal created so little with so many attacking players. Like Bruno Fernandes has not been a factor whatsoever this tournament. And again, yeah, at some point, like the attacking line was, I don't know, was Andre Silva, Joao Felix, Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes. How many more? It's like, it's not because you have 15 attacking players that you're gonna score a goal, and that's what they showed. Like, they didn't really be that dangerous. Yeah, he had a ball against the post, but besides that, there was not much going on. And we had one great shot and it went in. That's a tournament for you right there. But I think they were a little bit underwhelming. I would expected a lot more from this Portugal team. Not to take anything away from Belgium because they played well too. Yeah, Thorgan Hazard, he's been important for us. Like, he scored like 2 or 3 important goals in the last games. So he's outshining his brother, I would say.
Yeah, I just need my card back from PSA now. I think I'll probably have what might possibly be the only graded Thorgan Hazard card in existence. So it's going to be a hot commodity when that comes back one day.
Do you know? Do you know if his cards actually moved? Because I have no idea. Did you take
You
a
know
look at
what?
any of his cards or whatever?
I have not, but if you want to vamp for me for a second here, I'm going to check it out. Actually, I'm curious. I'm sure it has. I'm curious what's kind of stuff has been.
I'm not
moving.
even sure what the card would be to get from him, because I've seen some posts of people that post Torgan Hazard stuff, but I'm not even sure what's out there from him.
Okay. Well, I got a couple sales here. So,
Okay.
he has like a 2020 Dortmund auto, which sold for $40,
Okay.
which seems like I would imagine that was going for at least somewhat similar before. But he has the Euro 2020 Select orange sold for $25. I would have to imagine you could have got that for, once again, under $5 at one point. His base again Select $3, and then his Topps Chrome Bundesliga base, this is when he was on Mönchengladbach. So I have like this. I have like a blue one, a nice one.
Okay.
The base sold for $5, and I bought that blue one for like $2. So I'm sure you could have got this for literally 25 cents at one point. We have another 2020 Select. So Topps Museum. Oh, look at $9 for his Topps base. So yeah, stuff is moving. Oh, here you go. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Select PSA 9, $50. So just because that probably one of the few things that was sitting in a slab, someone just picked it up.
Okay, nice.
So
Yeah,
those are going.
Okay.
Schick, Patrick Schick stuff is flying. I remember we talked about that. I think you were on there when we were talking about it. With shout out to Azuro Cards and Anthony Flex.
Yeah.
They were talking about that.
It's crazy.
Man, sorry. I apologize. I'm doing too much. I told you so, but it seems kind of relevant with this. That's what we said, though, right? Like some of these guys, there's just not that much out there. And once again, the encouraging thing to see is that their stuff is really moving.
I must admit, I had I never had it before. Like when I was watching a game, I was like during the game looking for one player to buy from that team. Wow. It was crazy. I didn't pull the trigger on anything, but I was like in the moment, and after that I was realizing that I was actually looking up a player because I was watching him play. But I've not bought anything, but I'm very close to. It's fun to see what Euros do to you.
It's fun, man. It's really fun. I've talked about this for a while, but like same thing with watching the NBA playoffs and the Euros. I love that feeling of like I didn't bet on the game, but I still have such a vested interest. You know what I mean? Like I'm telling you, if I actually don't even have that much Sancho anymore, but just whoever. Like I was trying to get Foden. But I was trying to get like a couple nice Jack Grealish cards, and I didn't. But I'm telling you, if I had just even seen him warming up, I would have been jumping. All right, here we go. You're ready to do it. Even Thorgan Hazard is a perfect one. I spent $5 on one of his cards, and I've turned into the biggest Thorgan Hazard fan in the world. And that's just the fun thing. Like everyone talks about vintage Messi, Ronaldo. It's smart, but like at the end of the day, it's fun, man. Like I'll keep reiterating it. I really enjoy it cheering for these guys. Last thing real quick. You were talking about Portugal. Bruno Fernandes. I mean, he's the one that surprised me. João Felix. If you had told me before the tournament, and you're like, you know what, João Felix is not going to play as much as you think. He's going to have a stride. I'd say, okay, it's a little surprising, but I believe it. But if you told me that was going to happen with Bruno, I would be like, no way. Like he's struggled, really, to be fair.
Yeah, again, it's crazy to see how they struggled to create real chances from open play, and it's like with that type of team, again, the difference between a national team and a domestic team, it's such a big difference. I hope people now saw that there's a huge difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's again, he's what is he, like 28? Like he'll be fine for the years to come, I guess, or 25. Sure. I don't even know how old he is. Jesus.
Well, I'm getting excited again because I feel like there's going to be a real
Oh,
buy
26.
low
There you have.
okay.
Only
There's going to be
26.
a real buy low opportunity because you say like someone like Bruno, I could see people, just get like I just bought one for pretty cheap. I think a part of that has to do with his performance. He's the type of guy. Once again, if you told me he's going to have a huge World Cup next year, he's going to be one of the top players in the tournament, I would also believe you. It may not happen, but this stuff, like you said, it's just because they play bad and this not even play bad, but they don't have the opportunities or whatever it may be in this tournament. A year from now, things could be completely different on a stage that is 10 times bigger. So that's kind of something that's interesting. It'll be like, all right, who underperformed at the Euros? Who's going to have a big performance at the World Cup? That's the thing I'm interested to do, especially from a soccer card angle. Like, which of these guys do I pick up?
I think the most important before you invest in players for a big tournament is to see how they play at their clubs and then see if they play exactly or close to exactly the same at their national team. I think Pogba is the best example. Like, he's a very creative player, but he doesn't have the opportunity at Manchester United to fully display that, and that's why we don't see the Pogba there, and we do see the Pogba at France. And I think it's the same with Bruno Fernandes. Like, I think Santos played with two very defensive-minded midfielders in the start. Players like Vidal that they're just on there to break people's legs, and that didn't work. And they had to change the system and had to move pieces around. It didn't work. So if Bruno Fernandes at Manchester United, he can run the show, but at Portugal, he doesn't run. It doesn't run anything. Like, it's Ronaldo that runs everything, and I think. I have to do some research on it, but I'm pretty sure that people that play close to the same system at their club and their national team that they perform more consistent than people that have to move around and all of a sudden. Kane is the perfect example. I think Kane is the perfect example of how playing a system in the domestic team and the national team, how that changes, how his performance dropped. I think that's a perfect example.
Yeah. 100%. Okay, last thing we're going to have some questions. For your questions, we're going to answer really quickly. But real quick before we get to that, any thoughts on the tournament going forward quickly? I guess my quick one would be England's path to the final looks pretty wide open right now.
Yeah, and that right side of the bracket was whoever won that Germany-England game had a very good shot at the finals, and it looks like England because Ukraine didn't look all that good.
Yeah.
So yeah, Belgium, Italy. I think that's another huge game. There's no easy game for Belgium anymore. It's like even Switzerland is a tough opponent. Yeah,
it'll be interesting.
England has a fair shot.
That's my biggest takeaway. I think England get a little momentum going.
Yeah.
I'm changing my pick. Like I've teased at the beginning, I'm changing my pick for the 5th time. It's England now.
So you're going for England to win the tournament?
If you once again gun to my head, I have to place a bet just based on their path, right? Because maybe if you could fast forward and you told me, okay, it's Belgium versus England in the final, I would go, okay, well, wait a minute, I might take Belgium here. But just because of the fact that I think they have a really good chance to make it there, that's why I would think England.
Okay. Fair enough.
But only time will tell. All right, real quick, viewer questions. Appreciate those. First one.
PWCC.
Oh man, we are deep in here. Okay, we're gonna keep it quick. PWCC, Messi, PSA 10, Mega Crack 71 sold for $350K. Very, very encouraging for me. Yeah, I don't know what you do. I want to hear your thoughts.
I had this conversation with Bill on my channel as well. It's like if that's really the holy grail of Messi, 71 bis, PSA 10, then why is it only 335 or was it 350?
Yeah, 330, 350. I don't know.
But then again, like we're sitting here, like I was sitting there, like saying, "Oh, only 350." Like it's peanuts, you know. It's like it's still $350,000 for a sport card. So that's amazing to see, even in a market like this where Then again, it's not really part of the market, because if you have 350K to spend on something like that, you're not part of the market anymore. But yeah, I was surprised though that it was less than the Haaland. I think it should be the other way around, or even a healthy market. If we go back like 6 months, then I have to believe that Messi was selling for double. No, I don't know, or if at least more than the Haaland.
You're saying it was, or you think if we could shift this auction? Well,
I'm not sure if we would shift it back 6 months in time. If that one, I think the Messi would have gone for more, and two, it should have gone for more than the Haaland.
Yeah. I think, and once again, I think this might have, I'm not sure a Messi PSA 10 has sold in a little bit. I don't think a Messi PSA 10 sold during that period.
I don't think so.
I'd agree with you. It definitely would have gone for more, especially if it would have been around, because I think there is that kind of effect, right? Like when the Jordan sold for 750K, all of a sudden a Messi at least 400K sounds kind of cheap. So because I believe the Jordan is selling now for like 250, right? So the Messi is, I'm pretty, it's definitely in that range. It's come down a ton since the 750.
So that same 750 card is now selling for 250.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, a big fall, which is, once again, we won't get into it, but people, it's just that low end garbage that's down, guys. Blah blah blah. No, it's a lot of stuff is down. Anyways, so if a Messi PSA 10 had come in around there, it's lower pop than that Jordan. I don't know. I don't want to say 800K for a Messi sounds crazy to me, but you never know what could happen. But I will say there was BGS 9.5 selling during that super hype period of Messi, and those weren't going for as much as I thought they would. Like if you were going to extrapolate it, even what the BGS 9.5 went for would indicate not an insane Messi PSA 10 sale if it had happened, like the ratios, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I don't know what else I have to say besides that, except that it made me hopeful because like I own a BGS 8.5 subtle flex, but I was like, you know what? I think the PSA 10 is gone now, right? If that's 350K, even the PSA 9 will probably be gone now too. I mean, what is that going to be like? Probably 70K card or something like that. Once again, the ratios with these type of cards are not perfect, but I'd imagine to be somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Even these high-end dealers, right? I'm not sure they're cashing out 100K for a Messi PSA 9. So what's left? A BGS 8.5, a PSA 8 for us normal people, and then all of a sudden, right? And it's the same flaw that there is with like trickle down economics or any of this stuff. It doesn't happen perfectly, but I do think there's something to be said if like that consistently hold at that type of price, like this other stuff will start seeing more interest.
Yeah, I have to agree. So it's a PSA 2 for me then. Okay.
A PSA 2? Hey, I mean, I was gonna bid. There was like a Ronaldo Mega Cracks rookie, and it was like labeled authentic. And I was like, hey man, I would love to have this. I put in a bid, but then I realized like
2K, right? Didn't it?
Yeah, it was like 3K or something.
Yeah.
And I think my bid might have even been above that. But the only thing was I was reading up on it, and I think it was like trimmed. Like you can still the reason, because it didn't look that bad. I was like, why'd they only get authentic? And what I kind of inferred was it's trimmed. So you can't, the only grade you can give it if it's altered is just authentic. Like this is a real card. So that's why I was like, I'll stay away from this for now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's encouraging. I think once again, I'm seeing more. This isn't just pump because I have my issues as well, but I'm seeing there's a lot of life in the soccer card market, and actually in the basketball card market as well. So that's a whole different video of, and that's been talked to death for sure. So I won't do that to you guys, but it's good to see. It's good to see for sure. All right, real quick, these questions: are big name players from Topps Chrome Sapphire 2019 a long-term hold?
I still don't understand that Sapphire.
I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I really do not get it.
Because it's huge in baseball, right? Sapphire.
I honestly, I won't even pretend to know, but I will say that in F1 though, which I'm, the biggest F1 expert now. I'm just going to shift to an F1 channel. The Sapphire like base the premium that goes for compared to just the regular base is like insane. Like this sapphire stuff just moves. People love it. I don't get it. Like,
yeah,
and
Brett
someone,
Nolan keeps telling me like Sapphire has a huge premium, and I keep telling him like I don't see it, I don't understand. And he keeps saying like it is, and every time these boxes go up in price, and every time these cards getting sold for more. So he's probably right, but I have no idea why that Sapphire is like I don't.
yeah,
It was limited print. It was only for these Montgomery members, if I'm not mistaken. So
yeah.
it's more premium probably, but I just don't understand why it's because it's Sapphire that it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it, and I'm totally open to someone telling me just I'm a complete idiot on this one because I
We
don't
should bring
pretend to
someone on
know.
who is an expert on Sapphire.
Sure, we should have a guest again. I think we need to make that happen. But like the sapphire, it's still a base, right? It's just a base that happens to be blue, and the
Yeah.
print run I know is lower, but it's not like it's like only one case released or something. I see plenty of sapphire out there, so I don't think it's like, you know, a minuscule effect, especially back in like 2019 where they didn't release. Now there's retail of the regular stuff, so maybe that's all off. But I don't get it. I guess my answer to this would be I will continue forever beating the drum of Topps Chrome 2017. I would much rather hold that.
Yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, I don't get the sapphire thing. Maybe, but not for me.
No, I agree. 2017 Topps Chrome, I love that one, but I'm not the guy to talk to about Sapphire. I literally have no idea.
Yeah, I guess if I would rather take my chances because if you're buying this, you're betting on it becoming an iconic set and everyone looking back to it. I'd much rather take my chances with Topps Chrome 2017, Prism 2014, even something like Select, which people talk about that I'm not the biggest fan of. I think your odds would be a lot better with that. Next one. Should the prices of CR7 go up after the Coca-Cola situation and him being so close for the records of goals for national teams?
The first, no. The second, definitely. Like, why Coca-Cola situation? I mean, it has nothing to do with him as a person. That's. I think that's
any publicity is good publicity, right?
That's the same what happened with Rashford. He had a little moment because he was doing all that fun stuff outside the pitch, but as soon as the hype dies, it's gone.
I saw this comment. It was like, Rashford is so shite. I'm supposed to care about him because he gave some kid a croissant. I don't know why that one got me. Gave some kid a croissant. Sorry, I just had to get that in there. Keep going.
Yeah, I think it's the same situation. Like he might see an uptick. I don't even know if it's true, but he might see an uptick just because of that. But as soon as the hype dies and the tournament continues, then that factor will be gone. It's the same with Rashford. Like he was not performing well, but his cards were going up because he had all that publicity and people were talking about it. But as soon as that dropped and he still wasn't performing, his card prices dropped again. So you have to be very careful about these off the pitch stuff influencing cards because that's mostly hype and people talking about him. And as soon as people are bored talking about him or there's something else happening, like Haaland scores a hat-trick in the Champions League, then that attention will shift away and card prices will drop. Now, of course, record of goals, national team, that's obviously a huge milestone. I even think he already is tied or he has it with Dele Alli or whatever his name is. Dele Alli. I never can pronounce his name. I know who he is, though.
Dele Alli.
No.
Dele Alli.
That's the guy from Tottenham.
I know, but what? Yeah, now that I thought about it,
Dele Alli or something like that. I should know. Shame on me.
Oh yeah, get me out of this podcast. Keep going.
But yeah, obviously that's a huge milestone. I mean, something like that. It's like it must be the same. It would be the same if Neymar overtakes Pele's record for Brazil or something. Like I think it's very close, or even already has it. So yeah. That's obviously huge.
And in terms of his cards, though, I think, like you kind of said, with someone like Rashford, I can't believe I'm analyzing Coca-Cola. But with someone like Rashford or someone hypothetically, it could help their prices. But my whole thing with this question with CR7 is, for me, he's too big for this to matter. Like, if
True.
Like they said the same thing about LeBron, right? Like LeBron broke some sort of record. They're like, oh, LeBron prices now. I'm like, who saw him break that record and was like, wow, this LeBron guy is actually pretty good. We don't talk about him enough. Someone should get some LeBron rookie cards. We don't talk about this guy enough. No one's doing that with CR7. Like, oh, the Coca-Cola guy. Oh, he's pretty good actually. Like,
yeah.
But with someone, even just rewinding time, like even someone like Klose, this sounds like disrespectful, but I remember he broke some sort of record. Like, it was like most goals or most games. He Miroslav Klose.
Oh yeah.
A while ago, he broke some sort of record, and then I remember myself thinking like that exact thing. I was like, wow, he's had a heck of a career. Like, we should really appreciate him more. Yeah. I could see someone then going and buying his stuff. So for someone like that publicity would be good for them. But if you're at the level of Ronaldo, it's not going to make a difference for me. For other guys, maybe. I always hear about, like, same thing, LeBron in baseball. He's going to break this record. Everyone knows that, though. It's not a surprise. That's not going to like ignite any interest in him. Maybe slightly more appreciation, but in terms of his card prices, I personally don't think it has an effect.
No, I think, if you don't know CR7, even people that don't follow soccer whatsoever, should know who CR7 is. It's like, I agree. It's a fun question though, because it makes for a good subject. But
exactly.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, we really appreciate the questions for what it's worth. So, but yeah, that's it for the podcast. A little long today. Thank you guys for bearing with us. Hope you enjoyed. Once again, like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.